We needed to protect our well pump from more things than just the weather. Yeah, just gonna throw that over the fence. It's really cold in North Carolina, so we do have to protect our well from freezing. We finally had time to build a well house. This ended up being a very tedious project that took a lot longer than we expected, and it was much bigger than we expected it to be. In fact, I'm not sure that we want to build something like this again. Jason looked up a bunch of plans for well houses and decided on one that he liked that seemed to be the simplest. We had a bunch of wood, I guess filled with spiders, that was left over from whenever our house was built, so we just used that to build a well house. Fortunately, it ended up being the exact amount of wood that we needed. Unfortunately, everything else is very, 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 very expensive. Thank God we had some rock, because otherwise this wouldn't have been very affordable. We were hoping it would be a lot smaller of a well house, but unfortunately this is as small as we could get it. But Jason used his skills and knowledge and research and put together this lovely little plan. For the majority of this project, Jason did the heavy lifting. I was more helpful in the sense of moral support, entertainment, grabbing things, putting things away, finding things that had fallen, asking a bunch of questions. And I would like to think that I was helpful at the end by helping with drilling, getting some screws into the wood, caulking, and whatnot. But this was Jason's project, and he did a very, very good job. It's not quite finished yet. We still have a little bit more to do. We have to put the finishing touches on it. Obviously, we have to paint it. But here's the progress we made in 4 days. Like most of our projects, the saga continues, and this time it's with the well house. We got a coat of paint on it as soon as possible. This is a paint and primer. 2 coats covered it very well. Then we needed to make a door and followed this tutorial on YouTube. He recommended this door kit, and I cannot tell you how much easier this made this process. In fact, Jason and I built this door in probably less than 30 minutes. But it's probably because we had our foremen on site and we had to make sure that we were really sticking to the task. They weren't a distraction at all. But anyways, the way that this guy in the tutorial explained that you can build the door as you go, it really made this so much easier. It wasn't a matter of measuring and cutting and hoping that it fit the wonkiness of the hole. It actually allowed you to build it as you went along and cut the wood as you went along, and that way you knew that you were going to have a perfect fit. And it was almost too good to be true because it did fit perfectly. You know, when something is just like too easy that you're kind of skeptical, this was kind of one of those projects. The whole time we were like, okay, what part of this are we doing so incorrectly that we're going to realize it at the end? So we kept testing it out. After having to board it overnight because it was really cold, we then started working on the face of the door. We wanted to ensure that it sat flush, which means we have to add a doorstop. And then we added the actual outside piece to the rougher plywood frame. We really like the latch that came with this kit. It seemed like a normal latch, but what's really cool about this one is that whenever you open it, it actually pushes the bar back out of it. See? And it opens the door for you. I thought that was so cool. Alright, so we have a door now, but we have holes to fill up. We still have seams that need to be recalked. See that? I also need to put another screw in there. We added a little bit of weather stripping at the end of this video to this frame, but we do need to put in kind of like a little frame for the door to sit up against. We also need to add the board and batten look, so maybe there will be a part 3. Stay tuned. We finally finished the well house. We had to take a couple steps back because we noticed that there's a little bit of bowing in the wood, and this is because the screws that we used were not long enough to go into the piece of wood behind the exterior wood. So we put some longer screws in there to prep for what we were about to do. Now we wanted the exterior of this to match the exterior of our home, which looks about like this. So Jason cut up some strips of wood and we started applying it to look like the board and batten look of the front of our house. This was pretty simple, so Jason cut up a bunch of pieces, he held them into place, I marked where it needed to be cut, then we just screwed them on. This part went pretty quickly. I think we did this in about an hour or so. It was a very rinse and repeat process. Then it was time to paint, which was also pretty simple. We just took the paint that we had before and slathered it on there. It is a really, really thick exterior paint too, so we were pretty happy with the coverage. Now we have our little well house. Will it last forever? No. Will we have to move it one day? Probably. But we are getting to below freezing temperatures at nighttime, so it's really important that we keep our well and pipes covered. but we're pretty happy with the progress, even though it took many days to do this. We still have to put the anchors into the ground that hold it steady because we're in a high wind zone, but for now we are counting this as done.